Let us pray. O Creator God, breath of the universe and heartbeat of the earth, you are our beginning and our end and our in-between. Today we are so bold as to pray, tell it, Lord, speak to us, cause the rock of our self-concern to crumble, to tumble into the crevice of our self-doubt. Make the ground shake beneath us so that our feet shall dance, so that we shall leap up and run out the door and carry mercy to a world awaiting its healing. Make the air tremble around us so that our tongues shall shout, so that we shall sing from the rooftops and announce good news to a world awaiting its release. Send your Spirit upon us so that we may celebrate courageously and bear witness to you with our works of justice, our hands of compassion, and our words of love. In the name of the risen Christ we pray. Amen. Please be seated.
Sounds like a little shouting from the rooftops has already begun. Oh, we're going to have trouble with you this afternoon, I see. I take it that loud applause that we heard earlier was for the fact that we've gotten ourselves in here, wedged into the corners and jammed to the rooftops. But I'd like you to offer another round of applause for Peter Hendrickson, who has gotten us in here musically, and also Bob Stack, who stood out there on the front stoop and practiced his art, and to Sonia Hagender, who has just given that wonderful invocation. Before we get to the Marina Christensen Justice Award, I'd like to speak for a moment to this grand gathering in the center of the room here that's already making a lot more noise than they should. But it is a great occasion for those of us in the college, because this group has brought us a great number of gifts, and they have left their mark upon us indelibly. And we are grateful that you came in the first place. We're grateful that you stayed. We are not so grateful for the fact that you are leaving, but we are very grateful indeed that you came. There are 623 folk who are graduating today. 349 day students, 150 weekend college students, 33 from the Rochester program. I thought I might hear something there. 8 from the United Hospital program. They will make less noise, but some. And 83 graduate students. Augsburg, I'm sorry, you haven't gotten your degrees yet, you know. Augsburg does this only once a year, and it seems to me important to notice that all of the energy and joy that is packed into this room, despite the bad weather, is an indication of the great wisdom of doing this all at once and all together. Let me see whether I can tell you a few other things. There's a good deal of range among us, of variety. One of them is in respect to age. Our oldest graduate today, Marianne Kinney, is just arrived at the age of 64. And and is receiving her master's degree in nursing. The youngest among you is Abby Payer, who is 19 years old. She has earned, I'm told, her bachelor's degree in elementary education in 2 years' time. 2 of you are celebrating birthdays today. Daniel Kistner, a WEX student majoring in business administration and economics. He is 23 years old today. And Matthew Plitzko. Matthew is a friendly fellow who's a day student majoring in psychology. By the way, a very critical member of this community is also celebrating a birthday today. Our senior colleague, Mary Kingsley. I have no idea and wouldn't dare to ask what her age is. You are coming to us from across the nation and around the world, and these flags behind me represent the places from which you've come. 18 of you are graduating with distinction in your department, and 19 of you are honors program graduates. This year marks the return to Augsburg of Latin honors, recognizing distinction in academic achievement. Let me share with you the facts. 88 of you are graduating cum laude, achieving a grade point average between 3.6 and 3.79. 39 are finishing magna cum laude, achieving a grade point average between 3.8 and 3.89. And 17 have achieved summa cum laude status with a grade point average of 3.9 or higher. It doesn't take many Bs to get below 3.9. You've been host to some of the nation's preeminent minds in education, religion, politics, and business. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter were in our presence at the Peace Prize Forum this year. Brad Anderson addressed us at the outset of the year, and our own Peter Agre, 1970 Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2003, graced us with his presence, and you were in his presence. This is the 10th anniversary year of our Hispanic Latino Student Services Program, one of the strongest programs of its kind in the nation. At least a dozen of your classmates have been honored for academic achievements on the regional and national level, and 176 of you completed independent studies or internships this year. More than 100 studied overseas. 7 of you are McNair Scholars, selected in honor of the memory of NASA mission specialist Ronald McNair, the African-American physicist who was aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger when it exploded in 1986. You all should know that the United States government did something that it almost never does. It made a faux pas and decided not to continue funding our McNair program last spring. And I don't know how they could have been so foolish, but they were, and we have decided to keep the program going without them. But let me with that say congratulations to you all, and thanks again for coming to this place and gracing us by your presence. I will have you stand later to thank those who have surrounded you in this enterprise, especially your families. But let me now present this year's Marina Christensen Justice Award. Marina Christensen Justice was an urban pioneer and lost her life on the frontier of the Austin neighborhood in Chicago to a mugging. She was the offspring of our long-serving and brilliant President Bernard Christensen. And we have created, or has been created in her memory, an award that will this year go to Elsa Maxwell. And I wonder if she would start coming forward while I tell you a few things about her. She is an international relations and Spanish major with a peace and global studies minor. Over the course of her Augsburg career, she's carried out a wide range of activities that led to her selection for this award. she has been an activist in Latin American politics, farm policy, and environmental issues, both on the campus and off, and has been extensively involved in our life in both music and Spanish. She has combined her classwork and campus activities with work in the community, especially at the Cedar Cultural Center. While here, she's worked at an organic farm, spent 2 semesters in Chile and Central America as a translator, focused on issues of social justice and sustainability. Her senior honors thesis considered the impact of the North American Free Trade Agreement on corn farmers, both in Mexico and the United States, and she has played a key role in the annual Action at Augsburg Day and helped organize Augsburg's Coalition for Student Activism. She has been praised for this and a wide range of additional activity and appears to possess one of those vocational commitments to a corrective life of service. We would honor her indeed with the Marina Christensen Justice Award for 2004. In the year 2000, Anne and I spent some time in a collection of presidents at Augsburg University in the United Kingdom, and there we met Shirley Jackson, who had just a year earlier taken up her duties as president of Rensselaer Polytechnic in Troy, New York. In 1995, just previous to that little job that she took in Troy, she was appointed by President Clinton to head the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. She started out in Washington, D.C., and became, among other things, the first PhD woman, the first woman ever to be granted a PhD by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and one of the first 2 women in the United States to receive PhDs in physics. Yes, indeed. One of the reasons that I have been anxious to get her here is that, in addition to being a leading voice in the United States for the education of our men and women at the higher education level in science and mathematics, is that in the short time that she's been at Rensselaer, she's raised, hold your breath, $600 million. And we were hoping that she might teach us how to do that. We need, $25 million for our own science center, and we are doing our best to see if we can obtain her secrets before she leaves later today. In the past 2 years alone, she's been named one of the top 50 women in science by Discover magazine, recognized in a book by Essence titled 50 of the Most Inspiring African Americans, was the recipient of the Immortal Award for the 15th Annual Black History Makers Award sponsored by the Associated Black Charities, and became the first woman to win the Black Engineer of the Year Award by U.S. Black Engineer and Information Technology magazine. She was recently selected for the 100 Women of Excellence Award from the Albany Colony Regional Chamber of Commerce and Women's Business Council, recognizing women who pioneered change in the community over the past century. We have been in touch with Shirley since the year 2000. Nancy Stably, who is the shepherd for our building project in science, went to see her, and we just received a half an hour of wonderful wisdom from her in respect to how we might use that building to advance our own mission of both accessibility and excellence in education and the sciences. She stands very high in all of those fields and has contributed immeasurably to the country's wisdom on those subjects, and we are very glad indeed to have her here. And she will speak to us now under the title, Excellence, Leadership, and Community. Shirley?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, President Frame, for that very kind introduction. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. I first would like to greet and congratulate the graduates and their families and friends, because this is your day. Greetings as well to the Chair of the Board of Regents, Kathy Thunheim, her fellow regents, Pastor Wold, Reverend Hagender, college vice presidents and deans, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends of Augsburg College. Graduates, it is an honor to share this wonderful occasion with you. I, too, am a university president, and these are special days, for today is the culmination and the recognition of your hard work, perseverance, and commitment to your studies. It is a day to savor and to celebrate. And to the families and loved ones of the graduates, I know the pride and joy which you feel today as you watch your children and grandchildren, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, and friends receive their degrees. Today, as you reflect upon your accomplishments, you also look ahead to the next steps on your life journeys. For some of you, this means further study in graduate programs throughout the country and around the world, while others embark directly on exciting careers or take on new challenges in your present careers. But whatever your next steps, treasure the fine education that you have received and the many friendships that you have made at this very distinguished institution. Diversity lends strength to an institution, and with the Augsburg commitment to intentional diversity, this strength is woven into the fabric of your college. You who are graduating reflect this commitment. You are men and women from 45 states and territories, 24 tribal nations or reservations, and I'm told from 29 countries. You are European American, African American, Latino, Asian, and Native American. You are full-time undergraduates in your early 20s, graduate students adding to your credentials and academic preparation, and returning and adult students who have studied while holding down full-time jobs, a formidable accomplishment. For some of you, the pursuit of higher education has not been easy. There are so many forces in our culture to detract us and distract us from serious study. In some cases, work and family compete with academics for time, attention, and energy, not to mention that the cost of education often can be burdensome. But as the saying goes, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Now, you and your families have made significant investment in your futures. You have chosen the path of education, and although there may have been obstacles and detours along the way, I want you to know you chose the right path. The late Vice President and Minnesota Senator Hubert Humphrey believed, and I quote, that the road to freedom here and everywhere on earth begins in the classroom. It's the end of his quote. Now, this has been true for me, for countless students I have encountered over the years, and it is no less true for you. So I do applaud your perseverance, your faith in yourselves and in the people of Augsburg College, and your belief in the power of education. Along with diversity, an auspicious Augsburg goal is a commitment to making education in science and mathematics more accessible to students traditionally underrepresented in these fields. For example, the Augsburg sponsorship of the Charter School for Healthcare Sciences, which will open in September, is a significant step toward this goal, as it will put high school students on track for further study in their chosen fields. And I have to tell you that as the president of a technological university, broader-based science education is a goal which is very important to me. More importantly, it is important to our country. These two initiatives, diversity and science education, are crucial to the future of American competitiveness and prosperity. There is much discussion currently about the outsourcing of American jobs to other countries. Now, businesses are driven to this not only because of the availability of a less expensive labor pool elsewhere, but also because of the growing number of highly educated workers in other countries, in developing countries, including India and China. This has put our nation in an education race. To remain competitive, we must educate all of our young people and those who come to this country seeking opportunity. We need an unprecedented infusion of talent in a myriad of fields, and we need a national commitment to develop this talent, as other countries are doing at present. Talent is important to our country's global leadership and to our ability to help others, whether in resolving global conflict, finding cures for disease, or creating innovations to enhance the quality of life everywhere. This means that all of you who are graduating today have a unique opportunity to take your special places in the 21st century. Those of you in the health sciences, for example, know the critical need for educated and skilled people to assist a growing aging population. And I'm one of those, although I'm well kept. And for those who, through research, will find cures for major diseases. But whether in healthcare, research, business, education, or any field you choose, your talents are needed, and you must encourage others to pursue education to the highest levels possible. The mission of Augsburg College is in part to nurture leaders in service to the world. The world needs your service, your talents, your skills, and your engagement. Almost every day, we hear from Iraq of the casualties of war among both coalition troops in Iraq as well as among innocent Iraqi civilians. But we also read and hear of acts of heroism and courage and sacrifice, and of the hard work being done to improve the lives of others in Iraq and elsewhere. Just last month, the largest Army Reserve deployment from Minnesota in more than a decade left for Afghanistan, where they will clear roads of deadly landmines and will take part in the rebuilding of schools, hospitals, roads, and services in that ravaged country. Now, their mission is dangerous, but they did go, and they are determined to perform their duties well and to help the people of Afghanistan. Now, I am sure that among you here today are family, friends, and loved ones of men and women serving in our armed forces around the world. Our thoughts are with them as we reflect upon our gratitude for their service and their devotion to duty. You know, the world is complex, and these are troubling times when there seems to be sometimes so little understanding, when there seems to be so much conflict, even evil. Indeed, especially at this time, we are all called to make the world a better place. This reminds me of a quote from our 30th president, Calvin Coolidge. Now, I don't often quote Calvin Coolidge, who himself is often best known for saying as little as possible. But his quote is surprisingly relevant today. And he said, and I quote, "Little progress can be made by merely attempting to repress evil. Our great hope lies in developing what is good." Our great hope lies in developing what is good. Developing what is good is your job, and you are ready for it. You will always be ready if you give generously of yourselves and focus on setting important and lofty goals. A simple message from my own father, whom you'll hear me talk about more than once, has always motivated me. Now, he did not have my opportunities. He was not able to attend college, because of the times in which he lived, and because his own father died when he was in his early teens. So my father went to work, and during his whole work life, beginning at age 14, he worked multiple jobs at the same time so that his children could live another way. He would always say to us, "Aim for the stars so that you will reach the treetops, and at any rate, you will get off the ground." Thank you. Thank you. In other words, if you do not aim high, you will not go far. Now, he also believed that it was important to help somebody else along the way, that it wasn't just enough to be successful for yourself. Now, I have taken my father's advice. He passed away 6 years ago. I've taken my father's advice throughout my career and woven it into a common thread with 3 basic strands. They are excellence, leadership, and community. It was Aristotle who said, "Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. After all, if you're going to spend precious time doing something, why not do it well? And when you do things well, it becomes your habit. Secondly, leadership is a fundamental responsibility we all own. We own it because whether or not we actually are out in front in a formal way, there are many, many who will follow. Think of the people you followed. Think of those who inspired you. You owe those who come after you the guidance of your best example. Leadership encompasses a clarity of vision, a clarity about who you are and what you want to do, an understanding of the broader context, as well as the articulation to share that vision with others. It takes perseverance and requires very hard work, but an effective leader sets an example by working hard, by being ethical, and by inspiring others to do the same. Interestingly enough, I've led this, I've been the head of that. I did not seek out leadership. But again, my father always said, the way to get your next best job is to do as well as you can in the one you're in. So I was curious. I asked questions. I studied hard and I worked hard. Leadership, it seems, sought me. But I accepted it because I saw leadership as an opportunity to multiply several-fold what I could do on my own. The final strand is community. What I mean by community also might be termed inclusiveness. In the global community in which we live, inclusiveness is key because it is the estrangement of individuals or of groups or of peoples or of nations that is responsible for the divisiveness that haunts us, that makes the world a more dangerous place. Now, inclusiveness is hard. It requires more effort, more preparation, more study, more flexibility, more everything. But the payoff, in the end, is greater than the sum of the parts. Ironically, perhaps nations can learn from some businesses in this regard. Corporations today are some of the greatest proponents of inclusiveness because they have learned that to function effectively in a global marketplace, inclusiveness is key to communication, to teamwork, to engagement, to understanding, to acceptance. Now, optimism also is part of my father's legacy. As a result, I am determinedly optimistic about the future. Optimism and hope are contagious, or as Secretary of State Colin Powell has said, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Indeed, it is a force for change, and it can move people to take positive action. I'm optimistic because I was a child of the 1950s and 1960s, and I told you I was old. A child of transition. Before desegregation and the fruits of the civil rights struggle, racial discrimination, America's apartheid, was legally enforced in the land. What a person did, what a person aspired to, was not always one's own choice to make. The menu was limited. It is not that way anymore. So I am optimistic. Commencements make me even more optimistic because they celebrate achievement, your achievement, new beginnings, and special gifts. And as I look out at you, the graduates today, I know that each of you has gifts. And while some may be apparent to you now, others will emerge in the course of your lives. Lead with your gifts. They are the light you bring to the world. Matthew 24:48 says, "For unto whomsoever much is given, of him or her shall be much required." I believe the best education calls each of us to something higher within ourselves, on our campuses, in our communities, in the world, wherever we are. With this as a goal, education never ends. It is lifelong, evolving, unfolding. So as you embark on the next chapters in your journeys, stay positive and look forward with a determination to be a force for change in the world. Do not be discouraged by cynicism, by prejudice, or by failure. Lead with optimism. Discover and bring forth the best in yourselves and in those around you. Challenge yourselves to reach new heights of achievement and of service to others. Find the joy and the humor in daily life. These will lift your spirits and propel you forward. So, in sum, give generously, aim high, lead with your gifts, stay positive, look forward, do not be discouraged, lead with optimism, challenge yourselves, find joy in everyday life. If you do all of these, I am confident that you can lead all of us to a future of peace, a future of greater safety, security, and health for all, a future in which hope prospers and love and service guide us. Now is your time. Be that future, and you can change the world. Congratulations and Godspeed.
Thanks very much, Shirley. Now let us see if we can raise our level of familiarity with the Augsburg hymn. Peter? Please stand. Please be seated. This sure is a whooping crowd. Well, I'll give you something to hoop at. You will have 3 representatives coming forward now to address you as representatives of yourselves. Danielle Semling will represent the graduate students and go first. Sarah Prozinski will represent the day students. And Barbara Forche will represent the weekend college students. I wonder if... I hope you will follow that order. Is Danielle somewhere nearby? I hear footsteps. There you are. Good. Congratulations, madam. You found your way to the platform.
Ooh. Okay. Thank you, President Frame, Board of Regents, faculty, and fellow graduates for allowing me to speak here today. And welcome, parents, family, and friends. I'm Danielle Semling with the Physician Assistant Program, and I'm very proud to speak to you today. I would like to extend all of my congratulations to all of the graduates, especially my fellow graduate students. As graduate students, we have all chosen to improve ourselves for the benefits of our careers and those that we serve, and that's an achievement to be proud of. I also want to offer a word of warning to all of the graduates who don't know yet. 5 years ago, when I went through my own undergraduate graduation, I was a bit surprised and kind of concerned that when you get back to your seat, you don't have your actual diploma in your folder. So I'm sure it'll be in the mail. In those next few weeks, when you do get your diploma, take a minute to think about what it symbolizes to you. Before you throw it in the closet or hang it up on the wall, it's something you walk away with that proves your hard work, your dedication, your sacrifices, and the price you've paid over your educational career. Also, when you look at that diploma, you will see there's a couple signatures on there of people who are important to the college. And without those signatures, the diploma wouldn't be valid. However, I believe there should perhaps be at least 2 other signature lines that would make each diploma significant to each of us. One would be for you to sign your own diploma, as well as those who have supported you along the way. First, I believe that there should be a line for each of our signatures on our own diploma. This is because you're the one that earned this degree. It's something that was important to you, and you should be proud of your accomplishment. It represents your perseverance and your commitment. And for our fellow graduate students, it represents your commitment to furthering your career and commitment to improving the services you provide to the patients or clients you serve. However, as we all know, no man is an island, and without those who have supported us, we would not have gotten our degree. Therefore, I think the second line could perhaps be titled Supporting Cast. This would be a spot for all of the people who have cheered, encouraged, inspired, and supported you along your road. These people would be your parents, your family, your friends, your significant other, your classmates, your colleagues, your mentor, your professors, or your classmates, and for my classmates, our clinical preceptors. Today, I would like to take a moment to think of these people, many of whom are with us today in the gymnasium, and realize that without them, we would not have this degree. I also know that everyone here can relate to the feeling of being alone, so I wanted to share a quick story with you when that happened to me. On one of my first days during my emergency medicine rotation at a very busy Minneapolis hospital, my least favorite senior resident said to me, "Hey, you," because he couldn't remember my name or bother to look at my name tag, "the patient in room 11 needs his wound sutured and cleaned up and sutured." And then he walked away. And I thought, oh, that's wonderful. Doubted myself, but I knew I could do it, and I also wasn't afraid to ask questions. So I talked to the resident and the very helpful nursing staff, and of course, I got through it and did a fine job. And the next day, when I had to suture up another wound, I asked less questions, and I did a much better job. And so on and so forth. Each day after became easier and easier for both me and the people I was working with. And that's what's the neat thing about those people who support us along the way. While they're supporting us to improve ourselves through our education, we in turn help them, whether it's providing for our families, giving better care to the patients or clients we work with, or improving the quality of this service at our workplace so our colleagues benefit. When you do receive your diploma in the next few days to weeks, just remember those things. You've made it through, and it's a great accomplishment to be proud of. But at the same time, remember those who have supported you along the way, and hopefully remember to thank them as well. So once again, I congratulate all of you sitting here today and wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors. Thank you.
Hi. First, I would like to welcome all those who are here today, President Frame, faculty and staff, parents, loved ones, graduates. On a day like today, when our accomplishments and hard work have finally been realized, it means a lot to have people that mean so much and have supported us with us here today. I know there are people that we would all like to thank, people that help make this experience possible and more enjoyable. I would especially like to thank my parents, my boyfriend, and my roommates. Without their constant love and support, I could have never made it this far. Thank you. We are lucky. Today we are graduating from Augsburg College. That is something to be proud of. We made it through the perspectives, Ernest the Furnace for those of us who lived on campus, a diet of Easy Mac and ramen noodles, the freshman 15 due to midnight calls to Papa John's, getting up at 5 in the morning to register for those hard-to-get classes, and driving forever around and around campus looking for a parking spot, finding a spot, and getting back only to find that you have a ticket because you were there too long. The time has flown by faster than we could have ever imagined. I'm sure that I'm not the only senior who feels as it was only last semester that I moved into my dorm room, met my roommate, and went to my first class. We are lucky because I believe that Augsburg is unique and that we are fortunate to have been a part of this school. Augsburg is distinctive because of its environment of respect and openness. This is an institution of learning that has strong roots and beliefs in the Lutheran faith, but also manages to be a place to explore all kinds of beliefs. Augsburg effectively balances its historical beginnings with the diversity it welcomes and supports, making it an exceptional place to learn and grow. Augsburg is special in both its approach to education and its location. As Augsburg graduates, we have been immersed into our rich, culturally diverse neighborhood. Our classrooms were as much off campus as they were on it. We were constantly encouraged and given opportunities to experience our neighborhood and to apply and share skills that we were developing in our classes. In this kind of environment, it is easier to thrive and learn. Augsburg has also prepared us to be better educated citizens of the world. We are not only educated in our specific areas of study, but also in areas outside of our major. In a world where there are so many specialized individuals, we have the advantage of having a broader perspective of the world. Another way that we are unique is that we are graduating at an interesting time in history. Our country has been turned upside down by the events of very recent years, such as the attack on September 11th and the war in Iraq. We were lucky to be at Augsburg in such an open and caring environment during these tumultuous times. This was a place where we could ask questions, find comfort, and encourage peace. We were able to do this in classrooms, in the quad, and through various campus groups. In a world that seems to be giving into hate, Augsburg made it possible to have healthy discussions and find hope. We are also lucky because Augsburg has helped us to transform. Be yourself at Augsburg and leave completely changed may be the new slogan, but it's not a new idea. Augsburg showed us how to find ourselves and grow into the people that we were waiting to be. We came in as new students, many unsure of what the future would hold, while others had a general idea. We leave today transformed, not because we changed our looks, but because Augsburg created an environment where we could develop our own beliefs. We also developed skills and a way to think about our future, so that even if the future is still unclear and we have no plans for what we'll do when Monday comes around, we know that we have the support of Augsburg and the skills to pursue something meaningful. Finally, I would like to say good luck. This next step may seem a little scary, and we may not feel quite ready, but I'm confident that Augsburg has prepared us for the future. There have been other times when it seemed that the next step was so far in the future that it would never come. The first time I experienced this was when I was in elementary school. I never thought that the day would come when I'd go to middle school with all the big kids. The same thing happened when I graduated from high school. I always knew I would go to college, but I never thought it would really happen. But it did happen for all of us, and college was great. Our faculty and staff, friends and family have helped us grow, learn, and transform. I know that we will find success, and more importantly, happiness. Class of 2004, congratulations, we made it.
And friends for all of their love and support. I would also like to thank the faculty here at Augsburg for teaching on weekends and for United Hospital in St. Paul for bringing the Augsburg nursing program to their campus. Like many weekend students, I had been out of school for a long time. I won't tell you how long, but I'll give you a hint. Last time I was in college, we used typewriters and card catalogs. But that's what makes us different. We are a little older, and we attend weekend college for various reasons. The most common being that we work during the week, and we have family commitments in the evenings. How many of the weekend students here, during the course of their schooling, also worked, cared for children, grandchildren, parents, drove them to hockey, soccer, dance, swimming, doctors and dentists, cooked, shopped, vacuumed, cut the grass, shoveled the snow, did the wash, paid the bills, fixed the cars, remodeled the house, painted the house, fed the dog, walked the dog, entertained, and then studied and went to class. When I decided to return to school, I was a little anxious. I wasn't sure how school would fit into my already busy life, but it worked. And today I can stand proud with all the graduates to say, we made it. So, how did we make it? I, like many of you, did it through creative scheduling and forming a tight bond with classmates who were experiencing the same challenges. Because of time constraints, weekend students have to become very creative in their approach to studying. We take our books with us wherever we go in hopes that we'll have even 5 minutes to read. You'll often find weekend students reading texts at the doctor's or dentist's office while waiting in traffic or even at sporting events. I know that I went through a little withdrawal when I started college. Withdrawal from People magazines, Better Homes and Gardens, and romance novels. The things that we were thankful for also change. We may become thankful for things like long lines at the grocery store so we can read those magazines, long road trips as a passenger to read, and especially for lightweight textbooks. Most weekend students would probably agree that there are so many things to remember that we often need help. I decided that I shouldn't have to remember everything. I figured that my children could help me because their brains weren't nearly as full as mine. They became my little floppy disks. I brought them along with me whenever I went shopping to remember things like where I parked the car or what I was even there for. At home, my husband helped with chores and paying the bills so things weren't repossessed. The dog even got a job. Since she enjoyed picking up and chewing on dirty socks, she was taught how to put them in the laundry room. I'm serious. My classmates were helpful too. Several of them were also my coworkers, so we could remind each other when we had class, when to register, what assignments were due, and why in the world we were even putting ourselves through all this. I had the good fortune to have spent the past 3 years with the same group of classmates in my nursing major. Within this group, a strong bond developed. We looked to each other for support in good times and in bad. We laughed together and cried together. Trying to balance the responsibilities of work, home, family, and school was often overwhelming. We shared joyous occasions like engagements or becoming a grandparent, stressful times like building or remodeling our homes, and sad times as several classmates dealt with the illness or death of a parent. I am so thankful to have had these people in my life. We could have obtained our degrees online, but this is what we would have missed: the people, our classmates, and all of the members of the Augsburg community. To quote 12-year-old Jacqueline Hill, my daughter, after finishing a solo clarinet performance, "Mom, I was really nervous at first, but afterwards I felt really proud." That's how I feel about the speaking opportunity and returning to school. I was really nervous at first, unsure if I could pull it all off. But now that it's over, I feel that we should all be proud of our accomplishment here today. Time passes whether you're learning or not. At the end of this year, everyone will be a year older, but we will be a year older with our degrees. We have proven that it's never too late to learn. Thank you, and God bless.